Thank you for joining with me for the meditation for the lesson of the day. Let's go ahead and sit with our back supported, head and neck free. Let's take a big 4x breath in through the nose, if you're able to, for a count of 4. Hold it. Exhale through the mouth for a count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And repeat that 3 more times. As you're exhaling, feel the tension and stress release from your body. As you inhale through the nose, feel the air pull up through your spine and go out the center of your head. As you exhale, go ahead and envision that as a beautiful, gorgeous light. There is no will but God's. This idea for today can be regarded as the central thought toward which all our exercises are directed. God's is the only will. There is great peace in today's idea, and the exercises for today are directed towards finding it. The idea itself is wholly true. Therefore, it cannot give rise to illusions. Without illusions, conflict is impossible. Let us try to recognize this today and experience the peace this recognition brings. There is no will but God's. I cannot be in conflict. There is no will but God's. I cannot be in conflict. I am at peace. Nothing can disturb me. My will is God's. My will and God's are one. There is no will but God's. God wills peace for His Son. Deal with any conflict that arises in your mind. Tell yourself immediately there is no will but God's. These conflict thoughts are meaningless. Any thought of conflict is meaningless. If there is one area that seems particularly difficult to resolve, single it out for special consideration. Think about it briefly but very specifically. Identify the particular person or persons and the situation or situations involved. And tell yourself, there is no will but God's. I share it with Him. My conflicts about this situation, this person, these people cannot be real. My conflict cannot be real. After your mind is clear, let's sink deeper into this experience and experience the peace to which your reality entitles you. Sink into it and feel it close around you. Do not mistake these attempts for withdrawal, but the difference is easily detected. If you are succeeding, you will feel a deep sense of joy and an increased alertness. I am at peace. Nothing can disturb me. My will is God's. There is no will but God's. My will and God's are one. God wills peace for His Son. There is no will but God's. The sole responsibility of ours is to accept the atonement for ourselves. The tiny mad idea, once taken seriously by the ego, says that the separation from God is a fact and that the Son has a will separate and distinct from the will of his Creator. This will of the Son can now establish its own reality as an autonomous entity. From that basic premise, the ego system logically follows up to and including the making of the physical universe. The ego is thus a statement that says there is indeed a will apart from God's. This is in contrast to the principle of the atonement that says that there is no will but God's. Any other thought is illusory and therefore has never happened. This idea is captured in the following line from the Manual for Teachers in the context of the idea of separation. In time, this happened very long ago. In reality, it never happened at all. Again, Jesus is saying that this idea, there is no will but God's, is the central thought of these exercises. In fact, it is the goal of A Course in Miracles to teach us to accept the atonement for ourselves, to deny the seeming reality of the ego thought system, which is based on the tiny mad idea taken seriously, in the Son's forgetting to laugh at it, the tiny mad idea. Did the thought become a serious idea? And an individual self believed to have an autonomous will outside the will of God. Okay. You are afraid to know God's will because you believe it is not yours. This belief is your whole sickness and your whole fear. And that's from chapter 11. So I hope that helps. The undoing process, which does not come from you, it nevertheless is within you because God placed it there. Your part is merely to return your thinking to the point at which the error was made, the separation, and give it over to the atonement at one in peace. The Holy Spirit undoes illusions without attacking them because he cannot perceive them at all. There's nothing there for him to attack. Him, he, she, they, whatever. They therefore do not exist for him. He resolves the apparent conflict they engender by perceiving conflict as meaningless. I have said before that the Holy Spirit perceives the conflict exactly as it is, and it is meaningless. The Holy Spirit does not want you to understand conflict. He wants you to realize that because conflict is meaningless, it is not understandable. This is why he wants us to perceive the conflict, that we may see beyond the truth. And that was from chapter 7. The goal of peace is truly ours. We shall happily embrace the means of attaining it as well. Our constant remembrances throughout the day reflect this embrace. Therefore, once again, forgetting the minute or two we are asked to spend, helps us get in touch with our ambivalence about the goal, if we forget. This alerts us to our inner conflict and provides constant opportunities for forgiving ourselves for the sin of pushing God away. No guilt, just forgiveness. From time to time, we shall return to this important aspect of our workbook practice. Does that make sense? If the goal of peace is truly ours, we shall happily embrace the means of attaining it as well. Our constant reminders throughout the day reflect this embrace. Therefore, forgetting to practice a minute or two every 30 minutes helps us to get in touch with our ambivalence about the goal. This alerts us to our inner conflict and provides constant opportunities for forgiving ourselves for the sin of pushing God away by not remembering. Okay, from time to time we shall return to this very important aspect of our workbook practice. We have perfect opportunities in these shorter practice periods. Remember, there is no will but God's. I seek His peace today. A minute or two every half hour. There is no will but God's. I seek His peace today. Thank you so much for joining with me. I love you. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you tomorrow.